To be informed about trauma, it's important. Dr. Peter Levine said that trauma is the most avoided, ignored, belittled, denied, misunderstood, untreated causes of human suffering. Dr. Gabor Mate believes that addictions and a lot of our behaviors and diagnosis related to our behaviors are a result of coping with trauma, and to always lead with compassionate inquiry as a parent, as a care provider, educator, because when we are stressed and when we are triggered because of trauma, we do not make choices that are in alignment of our values, but we are making choices to survive. And when we're overwhelmed, we do not have the adequate resources to cope and recognize what is going on. And if we don't recognize that trauma is driving some of our behaviors to cope, then it gets worse. And two things that go together is trauma and shame. And shame keeps us from being able to do self-care. We shut down. And also unreasonable, unhealthy guilt, where we hold ourselves to such high standards that are unattainable because they're not humanly possible. So stress and adversity changes human behavior, and it's not necessarily a choice. So we need to avoid shaming ourselves, blaming ourselves, or allowing ourselves to be stigmatized or cubbyholed by a diagnosis or by a belief system. We want to learn some skills around how to cope when we feel these triggers and when we feel stressed. We want to learn about how these things are affecting our behaviors in our life right now, and to slow down and learn the components of compassion. Compassion, self-compassion, and compassion for one another really is the antidote to shame. We know that we're human. We're not perfect. And we know that we're not alone. And we can learn how to talk to ourselves in a more gentle, kind way that doesn't bring about shame, stigma, or marginalization, but rather a helping hand, a lifting up, some compassion, which means to empathize, as well as take some small action to know that you're heard, you're understood, you're cared about, and to feel like someone is around you that is attuned to how you're feeling and will reflect and respond in a safe, curious, wonderful, bonding way, so that you know that you're in the driver's seat, that you can be empowered once you get the skills. So it's important to know that this is possible and that there are techniques, there is research, and there's more research coming out all the time about how to take care of the traumatized part of ourselves that gets triggered and behaves in a way in which doesn't feel in alignment with what we're most wanting for ourselves. I'm looking forward to more and more of this. Thank you for listening.